Hey guys, this is John Sherwood, lead pastor of Asheville Church Network, here to give you guys an update. Back in Asheville after procuring some supplies outside of town that you can't get here, so that some of our brothers and sisters can have running water, getting a generator for their wells, chainsaws, etc. I'm actually at a Lighted Children's Home, one of our community partners. Behind me you'll see a lot of our West Asheville micro churches here helping this children's home be a supply distribution center and be able to get supplies to people in need. There are still a lot of search and rescue going on, especially in the outer regions of this mountain area. We do know there's been mass casualties, and these areas are being blockaded by the National Guard, and it's so devastating that I heard one story from one of our members that a friend of theirs said they walked on to one of these mass casualty events and they were notified that the bodies are just going to have to remain bodies in trees and on the banks. And I drove through the West Asheville area near River Arts District in the French Broad River to get here, and the river crested, I think, some 30 feet over its banks, and so the water devastation here is real. We were through, I think, most of the immediate shockwave of just survival necessities. Many people are still without power and water. I still don't have power at my house, but the cellular grid and some of the internet starting to come back up, and a lot of the basic supplies like water and food are coming in. Gasoline, they're coming back in because they've got the roadways open to a much better degree. But I was at my house just a few moments ago, and the military is still flying the big Chinooks in, and there's sirens everywhere and helicopters everywhere. One of our brothers that used to be here in our church network lives in Rhode Island and was training to become a rescue swimmer with the Coast Guard, and he drove down, and I was able to get him connected with the fire department in the area, and they went out to a remote area up in the northeast part of northeast of Asheville in the mountains, and places you can only get to by side-by-sides and on foot. And he said it was just a disaster. There's vultures everywhere, and so there's going to be a long road to recovery here. And I just want to thank every one of you for your support, your prayers, your love, your financial giving. I know many of you have been wanting to give supplies. Unfortunately, we are not personally set up to receive supplies, and I think a lot of organizations are not taking certain kinds of supplies. We're just not at that stage yet of the recovery process. But we know that this road is going to be very long, and people are going to be without jobs. There's going to be likely just kind of an economic collapse after all of this. So we're going to need long-term support for our brothers and sisters as they are trying to keep their lights on and pay their rent as we come out of this. We have one young mother who's a part of our network whose car was swept away. We're in the process of trying to procure a car for her long-term, and just the needs are great. And so I think right now my ask is just that you be continually praying for us here in the Western Carolina mountains, that you would be willing to give financially if you can. We're gonna need these finances for the coming months. It's gonna take a while here, I think, for things to resemble any sort of normalcy. And continue to share this with other people. I know that there's so many people around the country and around the world that want to help with relief efforts here, and obviously there's so many incredible organizations and things that you can give to, and we want you to do that. And if you'd like to help our church network as we try to help our communities, we would love that as well. We've been coordinating with Hope Worldwide as well. They're in the area. One of the things that we're running against right now is that any sort of cleanup that's happening obviously is highly toxic. All of the mud, all of the riverbeds, anything that has been carried along by the water, the debris is toxic, right? Because the rivers swept away homes and electrical lines and cars and buildings, and so it's highly toxic. So we're going to be having to invest in personal protective gear and respirators and rubber boots. And my wife told me yesterday that one of our fire departments is asking for more rubber boots because the fire department's rubber boots are, no longer viable. And so just the kind of things that, if I'm completely honest, the things that you just never think about, the things that I've never experienced before. And I just am wanting to say thank you guys so much for your continued love and support. It has been outpoured tremendously, and we know that God is going to be glorified. I've already got my home mortgage lender actually has been talking to me almost every day. I've been ministering to him, and he's coming to church service with us tomorrow as we gather disciples for the first time. We know that God has a plan in all this, and he works for the good of those who love him. And even in tragedy, he can make something beautiful. Thank you guys for your love. Peace.